2, 1, go!
Hey, welcome everybody to Ukraine Update with the Shills, and I do believe that the words of the day are on fire because holy fuck, burn Russia, burn, and it looks good on you too. But there's so much to get in and go through today. Now we're sitting pretty with probably hopefully Starsky can get connected and join us, but we're not 100% on it. There was a little pause there going live because we were trying to make shit happen and whatnot. But we do know that very, very soon Starsky will have a Starlink set up and he will be able to join all the time. And it's going to be proper streaming again with the great man himself. Can't wait. Can't wait. But we should get right into it here because we've got some crazy crap to cover. This one I'm particularly happy to read. There is a barracks, a newly formed mobilized barracks full of Russian soldiers is completely burning to the ground in occupied Crimea. Burn, motherfucker, burn. There seems to be shit burning all over Russia. You got tire places and oil places. We've got some of the links we're going to bring up and share with you here. But this morning, the barracks have burnt down in Crimea's temporarily occupied urban type settlement. Now there's a term here I don't know. Chemboki. Jimboki? I can't get my tongue around it, but it's a disrespectful term for Russian mobilized soldiers. So I really have to learn how to say that. But we can just translate it to fucking orc, I think, and get away with just fine. But there are some real grassroots operations that seem to be going down. There's not a lot of culpability being admitted to by anybody, but hey, fight on, guys, fight on. Let's get a little reaction from the chat here and see what's going on, because I know in the pre-show everybody was talking about fires, right?
It seems to be a sort of a common theme from the Ukrainian side of things. It's just, don't not say anything, just keep quiet.
Yeah,
don't admit to it. Just let it happen.
Get your lighter out and say nothing. But I like it. I like it. Here, there's one here. Let me just turn that off while I find the right one, because I don't want to screw things up. Here we go. From the Insider, Business Insider. I guess everybody's into reporting on this stuff these days. I don't know what Business Insider would have this article for, but good article. Ukrainian forces recaptured a key town. Another elite Russian unit appeared to go through the meat grinder. And it seems to me that every time the Ukrainians step up, they just show to be the superior force, even if they're not armed as well. Well, I guess Russia isn't too much anymore anyway, but yeah, there's a lot of ineptitude on the Russian side, and I just hope it keeps coming. But for weeks now, the Ukrainian forces have been using U.S.-supplied M142 high-mobility artillery rocket systems to launch long-range precision strikes on Russian supply lines and communication networks in southeastern Ukraine. However, the Ukrainians surprised the Russians and the world by launching a fast-paced counteroffensive in the east around Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city. In just a few days, Ukrainian forces took back hundreds of square miles of territory and scores of villages. The fact that the Russian high command had decided to mass considerable forces in the south to defend Kherson, which Moscow ended up retreating from in November, aided Kyiv's counteroffense, which sliced through Russian lines like a hot knife through butter and repeatedly flanked large Russian formations, including at a major logistical hub in far eastern Ukraine. Like, that's great news, you know? I love
at this point. I'm kind of like wondering what an elite Russian, fighting force actually means. Does elite mean slightly trained?
Yeah, I think you got through kindergarten and you were given a gun.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just not really too sure. I just don't feel like they're elite. They're just a bit thuggier than the rest of them. I don't know.
Thuggier. There's a lot of that. There's a really disturbing report here before we get too jokey and stuff. Let me bring this up. I've got so many tabs open that they're tiny now and I have to search through. So you're going to have to bear with me on that one every now and then. But Ukraine now says that Russia has abducted more than 13,000 children since the invasion began. And rights watchdogs are calling it a war crime. Well, obviously. But 13,000?
Holy shit.
That's not something you do in war to take territory. That's something you do to demoralize. And, like people are continuously saying, if there's no war crime in that, then, Putin really is an environmentalist.
Oh, they would probably say something like, oh, they're doing it for their safety or something.
Oh, there'll be some kind of bullshit about it for sure. But children have nothing to do with war. They just simply exist. What do you like? How can anybody, like, I mean, even if you're a Russian orc soldier, you have parents, you have, relatives that have children and stuff. How can you do this? How?
Well, I can see there, it says at the bottom of that document, it says, under the Geneva Convention, it's a crime for a warring party to transfer another country's children to its own territory. Unless there are... Is that
imperative reasons? Yeah. in which case all necessary steps must be taken to facilitate the return of the children to their families and their country. So right away, just grab Putin, lock him up, let the boys in the prison figure it out for him. It's horrible. I can't understand how anybody in a war situation could get to the point where they behave that way. You're still a human being. How can you do this?
Well, the thing is that the powers that be that should be protecting the children and not allowing Russia to do this, they've got no teeth. They can't do anything. And I don't understand. I don't understand why that happens in this modern day and age.
Yeah, like Martin in the chat. Oh, sorry, DK. Martin in the chat there says Starsky a few weeks back was talking about approximately 9,000 to 10,000 children, and the numbers are now way up. And crying face emoji. Exactly. I mean, there's no justification for that. You're obviously breaking the Geneva Convention, and as such, you should be Putin. I'm speaking to you personally now. Marched out into the center of the Kremlin and shot and killed like a fucking rabid dog.
Sorry, I'm trying to form a response and I just can't think of anything. I'm just speechless. And so are you, Dick. You've gone quiet. Are you there?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I am. I have a fault. Yeah. No, my XLR connection from my mic to my preamp is actually giving up the ghost as we speak. And if I touch it, sometimes I cut out. So I have to be very careful right now and then run to the store. But we'll make it through. I want to talk about, where is it here? As a Canadian, this one was, something I thought was great. But Defensive Ukraine just gave Canada a massive shout out. And I think I can even get the audio to play. Buddy here. Clack everything properly. Yeah, let's give it a shot. I should kill the audio there. You get the idea, but there is a moment where YouTube gets you in trouble. We'll keep playing it though.
Yes, that is definitely what you should mute.
No, I already know BTO or blockers, so we'll get in shit for sure. That had to be stopped. But huge thanks to everybody from Ukraine for shouting us out like that. You guys are awesome, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more Canadian style support coming your way. Absolutely. This was great.
Did Zelensky cut this video together?
Probably.
Or is it a Canadian?
Yeah. Hey, they got Bob and Doug in. I love it. If you're my age and you're Canadian, you know exactly what you're looking at there. Oh, that was cool. That was cool. But I know there's some more support packages and stuff being talked about and whatnot. And I just hope everybody, stops talking and just starts signing documents, get things sent over right now. Come on. We've got Forbes again are giving us some news. They're a real bastard with me. I'm gonna have to do a VPN on them because man, they're giving me a hard time. But super upgraded M55S tanks have arrived in Ukraine, and there's a wicked picture of one of them rolling in, and there's a video depicting it, and it appears to be four of them, a 4-person crew training on the vehicle, and I hope that's something they can get up to speed on real quick and get into the battle. It's a deeply modernized Soviet T-55 tank, a tank that first entered service in the late 50s. In the 90s, Slovenian army paid Israeli firm Elbit and Ravni to modify them. And so now they're, up to a way newer standard, I hope. I don't know the intricate details here. We should have got Commander McMillan over from the End Time show, because holy, he'd know. That guy knows everything about this stuff. It's crazy. But he lived it, right? He knows. And the one of the important things was the upgrade in the shells, because now it's a 105 millimeter. And Ukraine shouldn't struggle to maintain them, because it's a pretty normal what do they call it again? There's a certain
stock ammunition size.
Yeah. But yeah, it's relatively normal, so that should be really helpful too, because that's a whole thing, right? Send them over something that they can't get armaments for or munitions for or whatever, and it ain't going to be very helpful. So we're hoping they. The gun is what makes it valuable to Ukraine, because the Brits put wide range of modern ammunition on it. So way to go, DK.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
took me hours.
Yeah, busy day, but you did well. Good job. For a visual effects artist, you got some mad skills with a spanner, dude.
It was just sanding them down the inside of that barrel to make it the right side. Took me ages.
Oh, squeezing in there must have been tough too. Let's see what we got next. Here's a report here from the BBC. Ukraine war. The United States says Iran is now Russia's top military backer. No surprise there. One completely oh man, I could say so many nasty things, but everybody in charge in Iran right now, you're just the worst people on the planet, right there with Putler and his gang. So no wonder you guys are in bed together. I bet they're just having some nasty sex oil parties.
The word backer is a kind of an odd word to use. I mean, does it mean that they're supplying weapons, or are they supplying finances for weapons?
Oh, I wonder how that works. We have a donation shout out to do here. Floodnick donated $20 Canadian. Big shout. Thanks, Floodnick. Hey, Shills, good to see you're back. I'm sure Starsky will be back soon. Oh, he will be as soon as he gets that Starlink, buddy. I'm in the middle of nowhere, but managed to get internet. Slava Ukraini, and thanks for positivity. Oh, and a big thanks for the support of everything we're doing here too, Floodnick. Good shout, buddy. Like that. So, I mean, we probably could have anticipated Iran being right there, because, they kind of have the same basic thing where they're just pushing their control on everybody. But Russia is also giving an unprecedented level of military support to Iran as well. So, what?
What?
Yeah.
How does that work? They're both each other's Patreons. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
They both sub to each other's channel.
Yeah. It's the flat Earth community. But I guess Russia's supplying what, billy sticks and whatnot, so that the evil Iranian police can go around beating up people that just want to, act and be themselves. There's and Ukraine is accused of Iran of supplying Russia with the kamikaze drones. Like, we all know that story, right? And Zelensky said that the Middle Eastern company said, it was before the war. And Zelensky called them out and said that's a lie, and there's many more of them being used. And Ukrainian Air Force is downed 10 to 15 such drones used to attack southern regions. And they are the Iranian ones. So, it's just a bunch of liars getting together to be bedfellows. Like, look at these two freaking schmucks. Look at that. I bet they can't wait to let go of their hands and grab each other's crotches. They're just bed buddies now. Screw them both. Now, I want to get into a story here about technical ingenuity. This is out of the Guardian, and strikes deep inside Russia are highlighting Ukraine's tactical ingenuity. And you got to say, you got to agree, because there's explosions at air bases, and this is like the latest example of Kyiv's continuing capacity to surprise in their way of fighting back. This image here shows the aftermath of an explosion at some airbase on the 5th of December. Ukrainian officials have recently been hinting at developments in the country's grinding war with Russia. A long-range rocket, perhaps, or a homemade modified drone? The apparent evidence of a new and unexpected weapon was visible on Monday morning when mysterious explosions hit 2 Russian air bases. Look at that. It's just lovely to see, right? Both took place a long way from the front lines. Video from Russian social media showed a blast at the Engels 2 airbase in Russia's Saratov region. Another happened at that fucking other name military base near Ryazan, a city just 150 miles from Moscow and Vladimir Putin's Kremlin. According to Russian state media, 3 people at the base were killed and 5 injured when a fuel truck went up in flames. At least 2 planes were also reported damaged. It's creativity in the modern age. It's absolutely awesome. The exact cause of the explosion was uncertain, but it appears Ukraine has found a way to target Russia's long-range Tu-95 and Tu-22M aircraft, which are stationed at the airstrips. Since October, the Kremlin had used these strategic bombers to wreck Ukraine's energy infrastructure bit by bit, leaving millions without heat and electricity as winter arrives. Another fucking prick move, right? There is speculation Kyiv has developed a strike drone with an astonishing 1,000-kilometer range. Holy shit. Last month, the Ukrainian serviceman said the weapon had already been used against the Russian military. If accurate, this means much of the European Russia is now in reach, and that the asymmetric advantage, sorry about that, Moscow has enjoyed this year, the ability to launch cruise missiles safely from deep inside Russia itself, is now under threat. I hope that this is 100% accurate and something that Ukrainians are able to follow up with a lot, not just a few of them, but a lot. I just hope this works. I don't think anybody saw how powerful drones could be in modern warfare until they really started getting used in creative ways. You got to hand it to the Ukrainians for the as this article said, the ingenuity and the way they're able to, take what they got and be so effective.
Yeah, one of the other things I saw is that they're possibly upgrading some very, very old rocket technology, just basically stuffing it with new tech so they can get pretty close to the target. And also, there was somebody was saying that they might have had someone on the ground to laser in the target for the missile. And that's how they managed to get so close.
Yeah.
And also there's people been saying that they were possibly aiming for the fuel and ammunition dumps near the aircraft and just slightly missed, because obviously if they took out the ammunition, doesn't matter how many planes are left, it's got nothing to drop.
Exactly. And plus, one small munition can hit a munitions dump and turn it into a beautiful explosion, right? Oh, it's great.
Pretty.
Oh yeah, to see that. We've got a great super chat in. James Bankhead throws $49.99 into the pot. Huge super chat. Loving it, James. There's no message there. Was that an accident? Because if you've got a message, PM it to or tag the Shills and put it in the live chat and we'll give you a shout out. Excellent super chat. Thank you so much. Awesome. I wonder, with the ingenuity being shown by the Ukrainian forces in some of this stuff, it's not going to be the end. There's going to be even more creative thinking coming up, and I really, really am excited to see where it goes to. I want to bring this one back up just a bit here. It goes on to say, most military observers expect the front lines of the war to be largely static over the next few freezing months, following spectacular Ukrainian counterattacks during the autumn, in which Kyiv recaptured almost all of Kharkiv Oblast in the northeast and liberated the city of Kherson in the south. Together with territory on the right bank of the Dnipro River, I never get that one right, there could be further offenses before spring. The latest guerrilla-style raid on Monday shows Ukraine's tactical ingenuity in its bitter battle against Russia and Kyiv's continuing capacity to surprise. In late October, Ukraine caught Moscow unawares when it launched an early morning air and sea drone attack on the Crimean seaport of Sevastopol, home to Russia's occupying Black Sea Fleet. Several Russian frigates were reportedly disabled, including the Admiral ship. Yeah, I'll bring that picture up there. But again, I think there's going to be more and more creativity being shown, and I think it's just going to get worse and worse. With Russian bases burning and whatnot, the Russian morale must be so down right now. Plus, I wouldn't doubt that a third of their soldiers are not even into it. They're just being drafted in and told to go fight. It just doesn't work the best.
James, are you making mistakes here, sausage?
It's
just super chatted again.
Yeah, James just threw another huge $49.99 into the pot with a badass super chat. And again, James isn't putting in a message. You got to give us a message at this point, James. We got to hear what you want to say. No, he says he's good. All right, buddy. Huge thanks, James.
I thought it was going to be one of those situations where we thought, well, no, I meant to leave a message, so I'm going to do it again to make sure I put my message in it this time. And then, boom,
yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. Oh, he does say, fuck Putin. Yeah. All right. Absolutely. We should turn that into a song. Fuck Putin. Fuck Putin. Fuck you and your silly old ear. Oh, shit.
I think we can work on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to need a little effort. Let's see here. I should get back into where is another one we've got here. Kind of jumping around, so now they're all out of whack on me, and I don't know where the hell I'm going. Yeah, here we go. This was the second one that goes along because this is again about the drones. So this is Ukraine's new drone a game changer in the war? A mysterious weapon has hit one of Russia's largest and most important military airfields. So on Monday morning, a deafening roar that sounded like a landing jet plane woke up a town spread-eagled in the flat steppes of the Volga River region. Well written. According to surveillance camera footage, a lightning-like flash followed by thunderous explosion shook Engels, named after the philosopher and home to more than 300,000 people. It hit one of Russia's largest and most important military airfields that again house the bombers. Here's a little map if you want to check it out. And there's the little zoom in there showing some of the planes right in the little red square. The planes are capable of carrying nuclear warheads, and Moscow has repeatedly used them to rain non-nuclear missiles on Ukraine. Kyiv has not claimed responsibility, but if it is confirmed to be behind them, as it is widely believed, they would mark the deepest assaults in Russia since the war began in February. Since October 10, 7 waves of attack have killed civilians and destroyed or damaged houses, power stations, and other infrastructure needed to keep millions of Ukrainians safe from winter. Located some 650 kilometers, 404 miles away for those that do non-English, freedom units, whatever you want to call them, from the easternmost part of the Kharkiv region controlled by Kyiv, the Engels airfield was seen as a safe hideout Ukraine could not possibly reach. Not anymore, according to top military analysts in Ukraine. Excuse me, sorry. There is a historic moment, unexpected, not only for our foes whose plans have been thwarted, but also for our allies in the West. Lieutenant General Ihor Romanenko, Ukraine's former deputy chief of general staff, told Al Jazeera. Jesus, I can't speak now. I don't know what the hell just happened. The new weapon can reach most of Western Russia, including Moscow, the lower Volga River region, as well as annexed Crimea, where Russia's Black Sea Fleet is stationed. The weapon is powerful and precise enough to deliver serious damage, including striking anything related to oil, chemicals, and energy, as well as large bridges, for example, across the Volga. For 4 Russian cities with a population of more than 1 million stand on the Volga, Europe's longest river. For centuries, Russians saw it as their most important and symbolic water artery, often referred to as who gives a fuck. But you get the idea here. Everybody's getting very excited at the ability for Ukraine's new cool tool of destruction to really give it back to them.
See, the fascinating thing about this story and all of this, it's not just the fact that they managed to fire a missile so far into Russian territory. It was the fact it did it without any kind of... Well, what happened to all this Russian closed airspace and superior defense? And these missiles just like jumped in there with no fight whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's one of the fascinating things about this, because it's not what we expect from Russia. We expect them... I mean, the Ukrainians are shooting down the Russian missiles, but the Russians don't seem to be shooting down the Ukrainian ones.
No, you got it. Oh, we have a donation in through PayPal from I want to make sure I don't screw up names and whatnot. Yeah, from Mary Tyson. And we got a $5 donation in, and that is super cool. Thank you so much. Awesome. Did I miss one? Oh, and there's one from, I don't want to dox anybody because sometimes names are different, right? And I'm just not doing that. Let me see.
Initials, just say the initials.
Yeah. I'm just looking, but it's from SO. You can put in the chat if I'm allowed to say whatever and stuff and whatnot. This is always an awkward thing. It was $13 Canadian donation, so huge thanks. I'm pretty sure I recognize the name as somebody who uses that name in the live chat, but I'm just a little concerned to screw it up. Oh, it's Little Dickens too.
I'm
hey,
sure
here we go.
I'm sure Putin isn't watching, so you know, he's not going to be putting you on a list. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. But here, I know it is now. It's Little Dickens too, member and all. Lovely. Thanks, Little Dickens. Yay! The link in the chat worked. Okay, perfect. Cool. Trying to get all this stuff figured out. Sometimes. Holy shit! What just happened? Okay. Are we still live even? Okay, yeah, we are. My whole OBS thing just went blank and then came back. That was very strange. Hopefully it's all good. Let's pray to the gods of streaming that it holds together. There's let me see if I can get this one up here. Here's one. New images show Russians have built an army facility in occupied Mariupol. So here, I'll bring up the picture. This is another one. I was hoping to see if we could get Commander McMillan from the In Time Show over, because he would have some real insight into something like this. We might have to bring this one up again coming up and maybe do a special with him or something where we could talk about this kind of stuff more. But let's see. There's this guy named Maxar. I kind of scrolled and didn't even figure out who he was. But he says the building appears to be a military facility. However, the BBC is unable to verify this or confirm what the new building would truly be used for. Moscow's forces laid siege to the city for almost 3 months earlier this year, and constant artillery barrages left much of it in ruins. Dear Lord, how can the word much be that hard to say? Ukrainian officials estimated last month that some 25,000 civilians were killed in the strikes. Yes, I said 25,000. While the UN said it had confirmed the deaths of 1,348 civilians, but said the true death toll was likely thousands higher. Images of the city's graveyard appeared to show it being extended. Russian troops have reportedly been removing dead bodies from destroyed buildings in recent months and taking them away for burial. Last month, an analysis of images obtained by BBC Panorama suggested 1,500 new grave sites have been dug at the cemetery. I think I'm going to be sick.
See, I don't understand this. It's like new building. I mean, who built it? I mean, normally if like military structures, they just go in and throw up temporary, like tents or whatever, and even Russia's own training grounds. When they've been recruiting all those new people, they're just like using tents and shit. Where did Russia get the ability to suddenly go into Mariupol and build a building?
Yeah,
I don't understand. That just doesn't. That doesn't seem right.
See, this is what. Yeah, this is why I was really hoping I could have got the commander on today, but he was too busy, life and all. Coming up on the holidays, you
could understand it if they took over like an industrial warehouse or something, and then like cleared people out, and we'll use that. But actually, to build a building,
yeah, and that's let me scroll back up here. 1 second. Like, look at that. We're not talking about small. That looks pretty good size compared to like the houses underneath it and below it,
Well, maybe it's the little white dot on the left. That's the building. You're just showing, looking at a big building. That's not the
yeah. It's the outhouse.
Shed.
Yeah, it's the shitter.
Doesn't seem to add up.
That's why I mean,
they're stealing washing machines. I mean, that's got air conditioning units built on top of it and stuff like that. Just doesn't. I don't know. I ain't no expert.
No, me either. Again, that's why I was.
I think tonight is one of those kind of cases where we might find better experts in the chat who can help us out with these stories.
Yeah. We have some very educated people on the subject in our chat. So, I mean, we could probably just sit here and read out their comments and be correct for another half an hour. It's hilarious. Sometimes you almost feel like you're being pressured to keep up.
So Aaron Reese in the chat says, we're getting better every year at making pre-built structures. It might be done like metal sheet warehouses. Yeah, so it's shipped in from Russia.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because there is even a prefab company in my town of 32,000, and they can pop a house up so damn fast it's not funny.
But if the British military do that, they have like the Corps of Engineers who would do that. Russians don't seem to have the ability to have that kind of side of their force, of like Corps of Engineers. They're just, like you say, put up shitters and pontoon bridges about as engineering as they go. I've not seen anything like that from them.
Yeah,
there you go.
It constantly seems like outside of an erector set, they're screwed. Maybe
that's what it is. It's Lego.
Yeah. They just got the idea from James May and built a Lego house. But here, let me bring up our next one here. What are we looking at for time? So we'll bring it to sorry, I'm having the worst cough of my life today, and I'm not used to interrupting myself so much. So I'm trying not to put my hair. Yeah, but we'll give it a good hour, and at the hour mark, if Starsky's still not able to join, then we'll just see what the viewers are thinking and whatnot. I'm still hopeful he can. He's given it his best, but we do know that basically next week he'll be fine, and we'll be able to get things back onto the normal path. Let me go to here. Yeah, here's another one. Moscow accused of using a terror tactic. Stop jumping now. More than 1.5 million people in Ukraine's south are without power after the drone strikes from Russia on the electric grid and the power stations and whatnot. On Saturday, all critical infrastructure in Ukraine's south port city was without power after Russia used drones to hit energy facilities. Russia used Iranian-made drones to hit 2 energy facilities in Odessa, officials say. A dozen European Union countries, including Belgium, Italy, Poland, Slovenia, have made a push to significantly lower a planned cap on natural gas prices as the bloc struggles to strike a deal on the measure. And this is the whole issue with winter and everything. I mean, gas prices in Europe have soared this year after Russia slashed gas deliveries following its invasion of Ukraine. EU countries held emergency negotiations on Saturday as they try to reach a deal in time for a meeting on Tuesday of their energy ministers. EU members have wrangled for months over whether to cap gas prices, but have so far failed to bridge a gap between their divergent views. Pro-cap countries say the measure would shield their economies from high energy costs, but Germany, Europe's biggest economy and gas market, and the Netherlands have opposed it. They warn it could disrupt the normal functioning of energy markets and deter gas producers from sending much-needed fuel to Europe. That's another nightmare that's coming out of this. It's really affecting a lot of people. I mean, over in Canada here, we have a lot of hydroelectric power. So a lot of homes are just electric heated and our electric bills aren't that bad. So it's not that big a deal. But, when you've got a lot of people that need gas and all of a sudden the gas goes up, I mean, it's like in the East Coast of Canada, as well as like in Maine and stuff, where you have a lot of people that still use a heating oil. And this year, winter is just going to be murder on them. Absolute hell. The costs are going to be astronomical.
Yeah, I think this is the year when people actually going to start taking renewable energy sources a little bit more seriously.
Definitely. And we have one here from the United Nations. Ukraine war. Attacks against civilians and infrastructure must stop. Disarmament chief tells the Security Council. And I think, it's getting to the point now where, you can't, in a war, in a fight like this, sure, you're trying to take the territory and all, but this level of BS is getting the world a bit more than just angry. The UN Disarmament Affairs Chief repeated what she had said then, that a large-scale influx of weapons into any battle zone raises many concerns for peace and security, which includes risk of diversion as well as potential spillover and escalation. She said it was a matter of public record that states were transferring weapon systems and ammunition to Ukraine for use by its defense forces against Russian attacks. Ms. Nakamitsu added that there had also been widespread and independently verified reports of the transfer of major conventional weapon systems to non-state groups involved in the conflict against Ukraine. She said what happens to weapon systems in the period after the guns fell silent was also a major issue, crucial to any successful lasting peace deal. Measures to counter the potential diversion of weapons and ammunition will be key to post-conflict recovery and recreational security and stability as to conflict potential in other regions. And she's also saying here, equally important was the need to safeguard and account for all military equipment transferred. She points to the UN Register of Conventional Arms as a key tool along the arms trade treaty. She said all member states should follow the policy approaches and use the tools already available for transparency's sake, so that weapons don't disappear onto the black market. And here we get into the civilian suffering part again. Beyond the facts and figures, she urged all combatants in Ukraine and everywhere else to realize their duty to protect civilians from weapons of war. Already, more than 17,000 Ukrainians have died or been injured, with the numbers incessantly rising, she said, most of them killed by explosive weapons. Russia's attacks on wide range of civilian infrastructure, including the energy grid, as the deadly cold winter sets in, brings a new dimension to the humanitarian crisis, putting millions at risk. International humanitarian law is clear, she said. Combatants must not direct attacks against civilians or civilian infrastructure and must take all feasible precautions in the conduct of military operations to avoid or at least minimize incidental loss of life, injury to civilians, and damage to civilian objects. Well, Russia has fucked every one of those things up. They're guilty of it all. And in a very bad way. In a very bad way. I mean, it's clear. It's in black and white. I sure hope that, the powers that be start putting more pressure on here. I got to scroll back here. Martin Lefebvre put in a cool super chat for Canadian $5. I suggest we take 3 minutes of not of silence, but to listen to Starsky's The White Cross together for the children of Ukraine who are missing. Amen. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Maybe we'll close the show out and I'll play that. Right? Good idea. Good idea. I'll cue that up. Where are we going to for our next one? Here. This is along the same lines. So this is from the BBC. Is attacking Ukraine's power grid a war crime? Well, I answer yes. This is by Ben Tobias. Russians' frequent and widespread attacks on Ukraine's power infrastructure have plunged millions of people into darkness, depriving them of heat, power, and water just as winter arrives and temperatures drop below zero. Many Ukrainian and Western leaders quickly condemned the strikes as war crimes because of the harm done to the civilian population. But attacks on energy grids have long been a part of warfare. So is Russia's strategy a violation of international law? With certain limitations, parts of a country's electric grid can be considered legitimate targets if they are used to power military facilities. This is true even if the targets have a civilian as well as military purpose, so long as destroying the object would offer a definitive military advantage. Iraq's energy infrastructure. Oh, go ahead, DK.
No, I was going to say, just general, as if on the question, it's a very, very difficult question to really answer because we did that in World War II when we attacked Germany and we took the dams out and flooded the Rhona valleys and basically to destroy the Germans' like military infrastructure for manufacture and power, but obviously it affected an awful lot of German civilians. So yeah, it's a tricky subject to say yes or no whether or not it's a war crime.
I agree.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not cricket, that's for sure.
Here, I'll continue a bit. So, Iran's energy infrastructure was attacked by U.S. forces in 91, a strategy that has been heavily criticized. NATO forces also targeted the power grid in Serbia in 99. In both cases, the civilian population was affected by the resulting power outages. In fact, there may be times when neutralizing a military facility by taking out its power supply is preferable to hitting the facility direct with missiles or artillery. Would I rather deprive part of the civilian population of electricity for a limited period rather than risk killing civilians because of the collateral effects of using kinetic weapons? Yeah, I would think so. Michael Schmidt, professor emeritus at the U.S. Naval War College, says. Russia denies intentionally targeting civilians and has sought to justify its attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure as strikes against the military command system of Ukraine and related energy facilities, according to a defense minister statement on, whenever. However, when an object is a legitimate military target, there are still limits on when and how it can be attacked. The state has an obligation under international humanitarian law, IHL, to choose a target or a tactic that will cause less damage to civilians, less death and less injury, but still fulfilling the military advantage. Um, Dr. Maria Veraki says, I'm going to, skip over all the credentials. They're obviously, they've obviously got them. They're talking to the BBC. Civilian deaths and injury caused by attacks on military targets are not necessarily violations of international law, but the principle of proportionality must be applied, which says that the harm to civilians should not be excessive in relation to the military advantage being gained. Parties must also take constant care to spare the civilian population and civilian property. In Ukraine, President Zelensky said after strikes on cities in November that 10 million people had been left without electricity and that half of the country's power capacity had been knocked out. 6 million were still without power by the Thursday night. At a certain point, says Professor Schmidt, the civilian harm is so severe that you just can't pull the trigger. I mean, even this guy trying to take a real balanced approach to it and properly look through how it works, you can't help but see he's obviously about to come down on the fact that, yes, it's a total war crime. It just is. It's too much and all encompassing. It's way more than just military targeting. Way more.
Well, most of the military are out in the fields anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, pining for the fields. Had to throw in a Monty Python joke.
Most of the military aren't hanging around these big cities keeping warm, and and they're out in the bloody trenches and fields fighting the Russians off. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a military tactician, so don't ask me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Myself as well. I mean, my knowledge of military stuff is somewhat limited, and I mean that in a big way. So,
Yeah, I know how to duck.
Yeah, duck and cover. Here, I want to bring this picture up here. This is a map of Ukraine this is a satellite photo or whatever of Ukraine at night, just a couple of days back. It's almost black. It looks like fucking North Korea. People can't live like that. You can't, that's almost the entire place dark. For me, the answer is war crime instantly. This article goes on quite a bit more. Let's see what the chat thinks. Do you guys want to hear more from this article, or should we go on to the next one? What do you guys think? More or next?
What do you mean, you guys? You mean me?
Well, no, I mean the everybody watching.
We'll
let them know.
The people watching.
Yeah.
Don't ask me. Ask them.
No, yeah, okay. So we got 3 for more, 4 for more, 5 for more, 6. Okay, yeah, so there we go. Okay. Sorry, blasphemer, but a little more is coming. The sort of advantage gained by an attack is also a factor when considering whether it is a violation of international humanitarian law. Demoralizing people, terrorizing people is not considered to be an acceptable military advantage, the doctor explains. In fact, she says, the opposite is true. Terrorizing the civilian population is considered to be a war crime. As well as Russia's insistence that it is targeting only military objects, the Kremlin has hinted that there is another reason for the strikes: persuading Kyiv to talk. The unwillingness of the Ukrainian side to settle the problem, to start negotiations, its refusal to seek common ground, this is their consequence, said Kremlin spokesman Dmitry in my butt. An attacking force may hope that destroying the civilian power grid will lower the morale of the enemy, but that is not enough to justify the attack under international law. There must also be a concrete military advantage before the attack is deemed legal. The sheer scope and scale of Russia's attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure make it unlikely that they can all be justified in that way, says the professor. We're at a point now where they're hitting so many targets that I can't imagine they're picking power infrastructure that qualifies as a military objective in every case. As a former U.S. Air Force targeting officer, Professor Schmidt also doubts that Russia is fully validating every object it attacks, another requirement of IHL. You just can't conduct operations of that intensity and that frequency across an entire nation and have done your required verification of targets, he explains. With that in mind, Professor Schmidt believes it is now pretty clear that Russia's main motivation, at least in some attacks, is to terrorize the civilian population. Whatever Russia's exact reason for targeting the power grid, Dr. Veraki says it has not previously shown a commitment to minimalizing civilian harm. You can identify a general pattern that the Russian army has not been fully concerned by civilian deaths. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that we just got confirmation that the people speaking are 100% on the war crime side.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I want to like jump back into that little piece there, where is the Kremlin are like saying, well, we just want to talk to Ukraine to sort this out and settle it. Wait a minute, you cunts. You started an illegal war with someone, and now you're trying to force them to talk about it. That's like me just like walking up to someone, punching them in the face, and then like sitting back with my arms folded, going, "Yeah, okay, let's talk about it now."
Yeah,
No, that's not how it works.
Exactly.
You twat.
Yeah, that's when you get your nuts kicked into your body. You know?
Yeah. And not only that, I'm going to punch some guy in the car park in the face and say, right, okay, I want to talk about ownership of your car now, please. Can I have it?
Yeah.
What? I was just putting some shopping in the back of my car and you came over and punched me in the face. Fuck off.
Exactly. I just, you know, it makes perfect sense, right? Big shout out to Nick Suter in the chat there. Yeah, it does suck not having Starsky on, but it's even harder on us. You're not wrong there. It really sucks to have our friend and brother not with us. And we do know that it shouldn't be more than maybe 4 or 5 days now or so, and he will be properly connected. And the good Starsky, the operator himself, will be back. Oh, I can't wait. But it is looking pretty much bleak that he'll be able to join now, because if he hasn't already, I'm not thinking it's probably gonna. But before we put the show in the can and whatnot and call her done like dinner, I did want to share some pictures here. This is in photos. Russia on fire with mystery blazes. And let's just all bask in the glory that is Putler's Russia on fire. This one here is at an oil depot. In Kosovo. That's one I know how to say. It must have been in the news when I was young. And here's one at another oil depot in Belgrade or whatever that is. I mean, who cares? It's fucking orc territory. I don't give a fuck to say the goddamn names right.
Fire.
And then let's see here. Here's another one where a historic building somewhere is burned. Funny, some people get brick to burn. Wonder how that works. Don't tell me. It's okay. Here's another place at a timber yard. Burn. And here's one fire engulfs a building.
Come on, be fair. It's a timber yard. It's probably just a fucking accident.
Yeah, but look at this picture here. That doesn't look like a timber yard. It looks like some redneck's backyard in Alabama somewhere. I'm expecting there to be a bunch of old Chevys in the background somewhere. You know.
Actually looks like a really bad Photoshop.
yeah, it could be. You never know. Here's one, a chemical plant that's burning itself to the ground. You can see a couple of fire trucks there, but I think they're actually just having lunch. It's hard to tell. And here's one here, the Central Research Institute of Russia's Aerospace Defense Forces on fire. Oh. That's a good one to hear. Yeah, baby. Burn, motherfucker. Burn. Oh, we got some shouts to do. Look at this. Oh, I love getting to do shout outs. I've missed a few. Holy mother of God. Okay, here we go. We've got so my God 1103. I just think that's how it should be read. Tosses $10 in with a big super chat. Love it. Thank you so much. Big shout, big shout. And then we've got James Bankhead again. He comes in with $49.99. Huge super chat. And I know what he wants to say. Fuck you, Pootler. And then we got Crazy Cat coming in with €5. Is that one? Putin is a narcissist in high heels, plain and simple. Oh, I love it, Crazy Cat. Good one. Awesome. Oh, thank you, everybody. That was really cool.
I can't wait to see our first super chat in rubles.
Actually, that would be really cool, though. That would be really cool. I'd have to make some jokes. But yeah, let's go to our next burn photo here. This is oil storage depots somewhere on the 25th, though. This is back in April. Okay, so this one's not exactly new, but it was 110 kilometers from the Ukraine border. So I'm pretty sure we knew who hit that one. This is a storage facility for unidentified solvents. And this one looks like stoners atop a bodega probably lit the place up.
I do find it ironic that they for that what was it? What did you call it? Institute for Unspecified Solvents or whatever. What did you call it?
Yeah, well, there was where is it here? Firefighters battle ablaze at a storage facility for unidentified solvents.
Oh no, and they're spraying it down with a solvent.
Yeah, but look at the building on the right. It looks like a fucking trailer park. Like, what is this? A meth lab that burned? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, unidentified solvents. Is it vodka?
Yeah, exactly. They're making potato mash and lit the place up. Here's one. Locals look on as fire engulfs a market. All right. So, and this is fire crews battling a blaze at a historic building near, this is in Serbia. All right. Fire consumes a storage warehouse for sunflower seeds. What? This is a Nephis Cosmetics factory. Okay, never heard of that. It's not like I wear a lot of cosmetics, so what would I know, right? This is in Moscow, the Grand Saturn Plaza. What do we got here? Whoa, look at that one. That's pretty good on fire. It's a production facility, rubber and plastics. Look at that. It looks like the abandoned Hall of Justice from the old cartoons, right? Maybe we'll see the Flash come running out. It's a service station. Oh, and that's all we got for that one. Let's go back up to that military place. Yeah, here. Central Research. Yep.
Yeah. Do you think that like some guys went in there into Russia and go, yeah, Mr. Putin, nice country. Shame if it burned down, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, Ali, you're right. I got to show that video of the mall. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get this all figured out here. He had fucking sent it to me, so I can probably find it there. Yeah, here we go. I'll just download these quick and I'll bring them up. There we go. Good call, Allie. Good call. Okay. I don't know. I'll just fucking drag him in and let him play. There. That's the Moscow Mall on fire. Burn, motherfucker. Burn. Whoa, yeah, look at that. Wow. I have actually watched this already. I'm just, reacting because, it works better on the internet that way.
I think that was Taco Bell.
Yeah. Somebody had a real shit in the bathroom, and this is the result. Do your body a favor. Don't eat Taco Bell. Look at that, though. There's people like just, casually driving out. I'd be on full throttle. Are you kidding me? What the hell is wrong with you? Wow. Wow. Well, we've just gone over the hour mark, and we didn't want to be too long today without Starsky on. And I've kind of come close to the end of the links that I have. There's one here, Russian military tire factory on fire. That's a nice picture to see, right? And these guys do tires for the military, right? So that burning is not just some happenstance coincidence. Come on, it can't be, right? The fire broke out the morning of December 9th, so we're looking at yesterday around 5 a.m. By 10 a.m., firefighters said they had contained the fire on an area of 1,000 square meters. Noting that their work is made more difficult by the low temperatures and heavy smoke. Burn, baby, burn. But yeah, like I said in the opening, I think the words of today are on fire. And all I can hope is that anything that supports orc warfare is burned and torched to the ground with the orcs in it. So what do you think there, DK? We should do a little wrap up here. Oh, wait a minute. We've got my God 1103 coming in with another super chat for $10. Big shout. Thanks, oh my God. He says, thanks for doing what you do, the Shills. And thank you for liking it. Thanks to all you people who show up and support the show and watch what we do and whatnot and get down and dirty and into it with us. And coming up soon, there'll be a bit more fun and laughter over on our second channel, Shills U, as well. We're going to take the stuff that gets us in a bit more trouble over there because God knows we get in enough fucking trouble around here. So, we gotta clear it up and play it straight a little bit better. But DK, what do you think? How about little thoughts and wrap-ups on what we covered today?
Yeah, that's great to see. He said Germany burning. Oh no, that was a long time ago. Forget it. We'll move on. Yeah, nice to see Russia burning to the ground for whatever reason. Who knows what it is? But good to see. Good to see, especially some of those very, very special buildings that have very, very war-specific things going on there. So yeah, I wonder who's doing that. Hey. But anyway, thank you very much for joining, and thank you everybody for all those super chats, and especially you crazy fucker with all your bloody huge super chats. Thank you very, very much. Forgot his name. James. Thank you very much, James.
Bankhead. Yes, big shout to James for sure.
Absolutely, thank you so much, and and we'll see what I think what we'll do is start buying matches and airdropping into Russia because they seem to be running out. They need to burn some more stuff.
I love it.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Well, we had the idea that we were going to play it out with Starsky's The White Cross. So here it is, Starsky's The White Cross. And we'll see you soon, fellow baby. Slava Ukraini!
Slava Ukraini!
Silence, it is calling down.
Sorry. Fuck, I shouldn't have clicked there. Just before we say goodbye, everybody, we had an email come in from Bill M, and I just wanted to read it out quick before we kill it for the day. So it came into the Shills. It says, to who it may concern. Hey, I was wondering if Putin has had a colonostomy. Hence the sudden discharge of crap when he slipped on the stairs. I'm hoping it's true. Sincerely, Bill. That was awesome, man. That just fucking killed me. We're out of here. Good night, everybody. Slava Ukraini. Be cool out there, fellow babies. We're back. What the hell happened? We got a big super chat we missed. It came in from Cats, 5 pounds, and it says, fuck Putin. Now we're done. Slava Ukraini, fellow babies.
It's over. Go home.